Hello and welcome. This is Kathy Pagano, and this is the Cosmic Story for the new moon in Gemini that's going to occur this weekend on June 4th and June 5th. All new moons begin a new cycle, and Gemini new moons begin a new cycle of how we use our mind, how we educate ourselves, how we connect to other people, how we communicate. But this Gemini new moon is especially potent because it connects us to the major ongoing planetary aspects of this year. Now, that aspect is called a T square. It's three planets that are in very tense relationship. One planet is Neptune in its own sign of Pisces, and that connects us to the spiritual imagination. It connects us to that deep spiritual place where anything is possible. Now, 180 degrees away from that, opposite it, is Jupiter in Virgo. Now, Virgo is the sign where we integrate our life, where we bring together body, mind, and spirit. And Jupiter opens us to that potential to bring in the spiritual imagination and make it part of our everyday life. Now, squaring that at 90 degrees away is Saturn and Sagittarius. So think of a bow and pulling back the string, and Saturn is at that string. It's creating tension. And the tension is, are we going to be our own authority? Are we going to listen to our own truth? Or are we going to be deluded by the lies of the media and by the old consumer society belief that we can only live by constantly consuming and that progress is our most important product, or else the religious beliefs that keep us separated from each other? Saturn in Sagittarius is asking us to be our own authority, to stand up for our own truths. Now, when you have these three energies, they're a little bit, they create tension and they're a little bit unstable because it's like a three-legged table. So the power of this new moon is that it fits into the fourth leg. It creates the fourth leg and it grounds it. So this new moon is a time for us to ground our beliefs, to ground the spiritual imagination, to bring new patterns and behaviors into our everyday life. And it all revolves around the mind. How are we going to think about ourselves? How are we going to think about the world? How do we perceive the world? And this new moon has Venus exactly connected to it. And so there's three planets that are all lined up: the sun, the moon, and Venus, which says to me it's time to open our hearts and really believe the way we used to as children, in what could be possible. Our left brain world is very rational and it's very much about beginning, middle, and end. But the thing about Gemini is it's imaged as twins, and one twin is human and one twin is divine. So perhaps we could take it to mean the left and right sides of our brain, because our left brain, which is how our society loves to operate out of that left rational brain, is our everyday mind. But the right side of the brain, the divine twin, is our intuition and our emotional intelligence, and mostly it's our imagination. It's our connection to the great unknown that's around us. And so this new moon calls on us to think with what someone has called the beginner's mind, and to think in new ways, to not be caught in our old perceptions about the possibilities of our lives, but to really open ourselves to the new story that we've all been creating. And so that leaves open many possibilities. The regular left brain mind is in operation in our media today. And so we see it in our political race. Hillary Clinton is definitely the Democratic nominee, except that with this new moon and this amazing possibility of creating something different, perhaps Bernie Sanders will end up winning the Democratic nomination. Who knows? It's really what we believe. So get your beliefs up and running. Stand up for your truth. Look at the way you use your mind, because most of us don't. We've been trained in a very dull way to just think of the world from our left brain. When you connect it with your right brain imagination, magic happens. So this weekend, take some time, meditate, go in and talk to your brain. Use both sides of your brain. Open up and be curious about what could be possible for you. Don't be content with your old story. It's time to leave that way behind and to start to write the new story that we've been working on. So, this is Kathy Pagano. That is a brief summary of this wonderful and intense new moon. If you'd like to read more about it, you can go to my blog at www.wisdom-of-astrology.com and read what I've written about this new moon. Until next time, have a wonderful night, have a wonderful day, and happy new moon.